and welcome to Artistically Married, where we explore the inner workings of our marriage driven by artistic expression. We're your hosts, Jake Ackerman.
And Brianne Steinberg.
All right, well, we just got back from the Pinery, or just Pinery, I guess. Everybody calls it the Pinery, but I don't know why. It just says Pinery on the sign.
Yeah, this is our first camping, so we thought we'd do like a camp edition because camping's just such like a big part of our life. But here in Canada, not obviously, because there are people who do winter camping, and we're going to touch on some of like the winter stuff. But yeah, for the most part, for us, it's a seasonal thing. The studio tends to wind down, and we tend to have more time, and obviously the weather's nice. So we're looking to get out into green spaces, especially with our kids. So yeah, we thought it would be fun to kind of bring you guys all the benefits of like being outdoors, and typically camping is great because it thrusts you into that environment.
Yeah, and I grew up, I guess, lower middle class, so we didn't have a ton of money, and we had a pretty big family with me and 4 other brothers, so camping was our vacation of choice when we were younger. And we started in a tent and went to a lot of the provincial parks in Ontario. And then as we grew older, we ended up getting like a trailer and a kind of like a campground, but it was more permanent. But yeah.
Yeah, your mom swears that was her like, happy place.
Yeah, it was.
I think it's I mean, we're gonna get into all the different details why, but I think for most families, yeah, that is like the most affordable vacationing that you can do, and like wow, just the benefits are so much greater than if you are doing kind of like a bougie luxury vacation. We are so blessed to be able to kind of participate in both with our kids. And I still would say, like, typically say we come home from camp trips a lot more. Yeah, we're gonna get into it, right? But I feel a lot better after like camp vacations than I do even like taking our kids on vacation. Sometimes you take them on these like whirlwind vacations. We're doing all these expensive things and the flights involved and the travel involved, and it ends up just being like more hustle and bustle, if that makes more sense.
Yeah, for sure. There's a lot of driving involved with camping usually, but that's all kind of part of the adventure. And I find driving a lot more relaxing than airports and things like that. Oh,
yeah, 100%. And especially when you're driving like anywhere. This trip, we were kind of going west. So we're in Niagara Falls, Ontario, for any of our listeners that don't know. So going west for us is just so peaceful. Like really, there's only like a 30-minute stretch or 40-minute stretch of the QEW.
Yeah, it's just getting through Hamilton and Brantford, and then you're
done,
clear.
right? And then you're just not going west, and it was so relaxing driving. So yeah, anybody who does that cottage country going up north to like Kawarthas or like Muskokas, if you're interested, do yourself a favor and go west onto like Lake Huron or even Lake Erie, right? And all those like little places along Lake Erie are also great.
Yeah.
So yeah, cool. All right, so yeah, we're gonna get into it. There was just some like different like specifics that we wanted to discuss because everybody knows, when you go camping, there's lots of different portions of it, and especially like the outdoor part. That's just so beneficial. So yeah, I thought the most important thing, and we really did feel this weekend because we didn't have any, there's no Wi-Fi. So I think just
or cell service really.
Yeah, or cell service. Yeah, even our text messaging wasn't really working, which it's a blessing in disguise. I mean, it's not often that we get to kind of shut it down. So I was just doing some research on a couple of different studies that were done, and the typical person says that they're on a screen for 7 hours a day. That's crazy.
Yeah.
I would say we're probably on the lower end of like 1 or 2 hours a day. Either just our downtime. I'm way, way more on it than I ever have been. And I'm guessing that this 7 hours a day, a lot of times is for people that it's work involved.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, definitely.
Right? If your job's like predominantly on a screen, then then I think just that unplugging is such like a luxury, right? It's so good for your brain. So yeah, just being Wi-Fi and social media free. Obviously there's campfires involved and nature and there's hiking and whatever. And I think just that experience of being able to be cut off is so great for people. Campers said that they experienced 71% increase in mindfulness and 68% reduction in phone-related anxiety after just a weekend in the outdoors. And I totally felt that digital detox gives your brain just a chance to reset and focus on other things that aren't related to the digital devices.
Oh, definitely. And it's so it almost becomes second nature to check your phone and whatever, look through stuff. And as soon as you don't have it, it's amazing how quickly you just forget about it. And
Yeah.
I had no idea where my phone was all weekend, and then I kept forgetting to put it in my pocket, and I was kind of like, oh shoot, I wanted to take a picture of this, but oh well, I don't have it.
Yeah. Yeah. And again, just the relaxation of not having it is so awesome.
All right. So yeah, this next one, connecting with nature. The natural world has an incredible ability to calm and heal, and yeah, I totally feel that. Just getting away from your job and yeah, immersing in green space, open sky, fresh air. There's so many therapeutic benefits. A 2020 meta-analysis published in Frontiers in Psychology found that time in nature reduces cortisol, the stress hormone, by up to 16% and heart rate by 2 to 3%. And for sure, I feel as soon as you even just pull into the campsite, you almost feel yourself just wind down.
Yeah, just relaxing. I don't know about the heart rate though. We were doing so many activities. I felt like my heart rate was jacked up the whole time.
That's true.
But I guess they're referring to resting heart rate, which totally makes sense. And this cortisol thing, I mean, I it's been a lot of years since I've like read tons of stuff on it, but I was really interested in it because cortisol was like, yeah, it's released when your body's in stress. And I found like a big correlation between some of my fitness clients. So I would have like personal training clients. This is like before I was really focused on the kid part of Infinite Motion. I was also doing like personal training, and there was a huge link to people that had like high stress lives and not being able to lose weight. So like I would be training these clients, they would be food journaling, they would be exercising with me 2 or 3 times a week and kind of like really keeping track of like their calories in, calories out. And it would still be crazy. Like their body would just hold on to weight. So I think there is like a big link between cortisol, stress, and lots of different things. But definitely it was like holding on to body fat, because I think that your body just stays in that fight or flight state, which is just so unhealthy. It's so bad for your brain. It's bad for your heart. Like it has so many repercussions when you're in that stressed out state. So yeah, there's just such a huge link between having that like open sky, fresh air and reducing cortisol.
Yeah, cool. So yeah, nature therapy, or forest bathing as it's known in Japan.
Forest bathing.
Yeah.
It's like sun gazing, forest bathing.
Yeah, not
That's
skinny
hilarious.
dipping.
Skinny dipping. That's great. Yeah,
So-
we didn't talk about skinny dipping in this.
No.
Talking about it now.
But yeah, it's a recommended practice for managing anxiety and depression. So when you're hiking in the woods, swimming in a lake, watching the sunrise from your tent, you're not just enjoying a view, you're experiencing a scientifically supported path to better mental health.
Oh, yeah, I totally felt that. You're right. As soon as we pulled into the campsite, I was like, ugh, I'm not stressed out. I mean, there was the obvious where your logic kind of links it to the fact that you're not working, and like typically we're always just like working like crazy. So it takes like getting out of the city and into like a provincial park, and then we're like, okay, now we're not working anymore, right? We just fixate on our kids and focus on like being together, which kind of leads us into the next one, which is strengthening relationships. So yeah, I think even us as a family, like we live in this house together with our 2 kids, and like how much time is spent either me and you at work, the kids at school, the kids doing their extracurriculars or some social function, right? There's not a lot of time where you kind of just like get rid of all the modern distractions and you create space for those deeper connections. And I think it's great for us, like the 4 of us. I mean, kids can be trying sometimes, but I think it's just so powerful to have that time with them and be able to foster memories. Like the kids come home and they're just so excited about all the things that they did, and it builds teamwork. You're often you're strengthening your communication together because you're trying to like accomplish one thing. It's so easy in our modern day life in our households, right? Everything's set up for us, so there's not a lot of like need to communicate, but there is big time when you're working on a project together. Okay, we're gonna get in this canoe, and like you go in the front and I'm going in the back, and what are we gonna bring, and what are we gonna use, and where are we gonna go? There's so much communication that strengthens relationships. And I think this stat that I was reading was 98% of families say that camping makes them feel closer, and 93% improve marriages and relationships. So yeah, I think it's it's the problem solving that goes into camping. You kind of go back to those like more indigenous roots in terms of your behavior that makes your relationship strengthen through cooperation.
Yeah, and you're just together all day. Like you have nothing to do but do whatever you're doing there. So
Yeah.
you eat every meal together, and
Yeah. Yeah, just that quality time. Like I said before, it's really hard in a day-to-day life with a family to get all the things done and then still spend time together.
mhm.
For us, we're all on different schedules. Like you go to work during the day, then I work at night. And then, you know, we might get 30 minutes at the end of the day where the kids are like, we're all burnt out anyway. So
Yeah, and you're just stuck doing routine stuff, and yeah, the kids fight, and
yeah, it's
I
not
guess they
out
do
of
while you're camping too.
it's not
but
like out of the ordinary stuff.
no.
Yeah, I know. Obviously, they're at that age where they just, you know,
Yeah,
they're having fun fighting each other.
but I do find there's
I find
a
they're
lot.
better.
Yeah, they're much better camping, and there was a lot of really good times this weekend where they were cooperative and
Yeah.
helpful and having fun together.
Yeah, this is the first like bike riding experience. I felt like we were like, oh, they're good. They're keeping up with us. Like we did like
That's true.
45 minutes of biking every day, and they were great. They were able to like make it with us, and yeah, it was great. We weren't picking anyone up off the sidewalk.
No. Well, on the first day, that was almost like 2 hours. When
Yeah.
we went off by accident.
Yeah. Just Feeny
Took the
though.
wrong trail.
Yeah.
But Phoenix was only 5 and he kept up.
Yeah. No, this is a good age. We're hoping that this is a good good perspective or a good indication that Peru is going to go well.
Hopefully.
Because there's going to be a lot more hiking and walking, but I'm sure we could rent bikes there too around Cusco.
Yep.
Awesome.
Yeah, it brings us into boosting physical health. So one of the most natural benefits of camping is movement. Unlike gym-based workouts, camping involves organic, full-body physical activity, like hiking, paddling, swimming, chopping wood, or even gathering water. We were lucky enough to have our camper, so it was filled with water, but sometimes I kind of still like those activities, and I'll take a trip just to go to the bathrooms or grab some extra water or something, kind of just to keep active throughout the day.
Yeah, you're kind of looking for stuff to do anyways.
Yeah. Okay. The American Public Health Association reports that outdoor activity can increase physical exertion by 35 to 75% compared to a typical sedentary day. Plus, just 15 minutes of sun exposure can generate between 400 to 800 IU of vitamin D, crucial for bone strength, immune health, and mood regulation.
Yeah, so this is all to, sun exposure,
Yes.
right? And I can't even, oh my gosh, I can't. Obviously, yeah, we're talking about the physical benefits. I think too, this is sad, but it kind of goes along the lines too of like the stupid screens, right? The screens are just so mesmerizing that you don't realize that you're getting like agitated and you need to go for exercise. I think the body does have some natural cues that you just get motivation and you get excitement and you go do some activities. And when you're camping, a lot of times just taking you out of that like screen situation just like makes you get more energy and more motivated to like just go for a walk and see the trees and go see the butterflies or whatever. But the sun exposure is huge. I think in Canada, lots of people describe seasonal depression.
Yeah.
And I think it's such a big thing. Go ahead.
Yeah, we had just listened to a podcast where I should have got the name of the guy, but basically he was saying, so when we're out in the sun, vitamin D shows up in our body, but kind of what he was saying, so then obviously in the wintertime we take vitamin D to try and get that sun depression or whatever, the winter blues.
Yeah, we're trying to combat it.
Yeah, trying to combat it. But he was saying that vitamin D in the body is kind of like ashes after a fire. He's like, it's a result, or it's like a byproduct. And it's something that's good for our bodies and our body, but it's the sun that generates it or more causes our body to create it, rather than it's just like a direct result, right? Yeah,
I would love to do a whole podcast on this and get some professionals in on this, because I think this has always been a fun discussion amongst practitioners of whether you can just kind of skip that step and take the take the medicine, right? Like take the nutrient or take the micronutrient. So just like taking vitamin D, it's kind of skipping the step of the sun exposure, because the sun gets into your skin and then your body synthesizes that vitamin D to use in tons of functions. Like I said, like,
and I think what you want is your body doing that reaction more than you want just the vitamin D there.
Absolutely. Yeah. The byproduct or whatever the result isn't necessarily like just skipping the action of your body synthesizing it. It could be like a really vital part. And we still, the research is still very much out in terms of like what your body can actually accept, because a lot of times when we're giving it these like forms of external vitamins, they're synthesized. So like it might not even be like a form of it that your body can absorb, or it might have like some, it's just not the same. Bottom line is it's not the same. And you can feel it, right? Like when the sun comes down on you, your natural human instinct is to like throw your arms up, like put your face towards it. Like you can tell you're just bathing in it, right? So the fact that I think like we're ignoring some of those cues as humans.
Yeah, our trip
stay inside all day.
Our trip this year was seasonably cold.
Yeah.
And so our first day there, it was
miserable.
Just stopped raining. It was cloudy, only like 8 or 10 degrees.
Right.
And but then as the weekend went on, the sun started poking out more and more, and you'd get these little bursts that you could just feel it through the clouds. The temperature is about the same, but then just having that sun hit you just felt so good.
Yeah.
And then Sunday, Monday, the weather was beautiful.
Yeah. When you're camping, you get it all. You're not hiding inside all the time, right? We hide in these big giant boxes. There's days where I work and I don't go outside. Like a whole day will go by and I'm like, why am I so miserable and depressed? Oh, maybe if I went outside, I'd feel better about myself. So camping really thrusts you into that situation. And there's lots of physical benefits of being in the sun.
Yeah, totally. And all the different exercises that we do camping, it is
so much more physical.
It's more like whole body workouts,
right.
I find, where rather than kind of really specific gym exercises and stuff like that.
For sure. Yeah, it's called like holistic training or functional training.
Yeah.
And it is a lot more like you said, it's total body. And again, anytime you can bring like mental health and physical health into the same exercise, like why wouldn't you, right?
Definitely.
I don't think you're getting the same experience when you're even like, take the same exercise riding a bike stationary versus riding a bike in the environment, right? Think of like the time that goes by. That's why now they're trying to do all those like simulations, like the Peloton or whatever. So you're watching the forest beside you and like you're pretending while you're on a bike. Because I think, the science does really respect the fact that you're getting a lot more out of it when your brain's being like relaxed and stimmed at the same time. So when you're doing it, when you're outdoors, I mean, it's happening. It's a natural full body physical, but it's also the mental as well.
Yeah.
Cool.
So that brings us to our next section, exposure to water. So we were on Lake Huron, I think, which is the second biggest Great Lake, which is is a massive lake.
Humongous. Like it felt like the same as being like in Mexico on the coast.
It does. It looks like the ocean when you're on the shores of these lakes and you cannot see the other side. Yeah. And the cool thing with the Pinery was it has it's called the Old Ausable Channel, and it's like a river that kind of goes parallel with the shoreline through the park. So it almost makes an island of the section of beach, the dunes, and then the forest, and then there's the river, and then forest on the other side as well, which most of the park campground was. But I guess the dunes has a campground too.
Yeah, we didn't go in there, but it looks crazy.
But it's really cool hilly. Having the like this ocean of a lake and then the river, which is more suitable for kayaking and canoeing and fishing. Yeah. Where the Great Lakes are just so big that you'd need a sizable boat to be able to navigate that.
For sure. Yeah, I mean it's the same vibe that you get when you're on an ocean. Giant waves, huge beach, There's no shoreline essentially except for the beach.
Yeah. Yeah. But we just wanted to talk about the magic of being in the water. And even though it was freezing cold, you still have to go and dip your toes in and feel it, and it just feels so good.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, there's all kinds of different benefits of being in natural water sources, even compared to like a swimming pool or something like that.
Yeah, if you didn't hear our episode on cenotes, definitely go back and check that out.
Oh yeah,
It was like the sacred waterways, but yeah, anything like that, lakes, rivers, hot springs, oceans, amazing.
so yeah,
Cenotes.
natural water provides a mineral absorption through the skin, so our bodies just tend to they suck in water, and they take along with it all those good things that are in the water. So we have elements like magnesium, potassium, calcium, sulfur, and silica. And when you soak or swim in the water, your skin absorbs these minerals, which can helps with inflammation, can help improve skin conditions like eczema or psoriasis. It supports muscle relaxation and recovery. Yeah, for example, magnesium, abundant in seawater, plays a crucial role in over 300 bodily functions and helps reduce stress and muscle tension.
I was thinking about that sulfur hot spring we went to in Denver, Colorado. Oh my gosh. We're like, how is this therapeutic? I smell like farts. But it is. I mean, yeah, it does all these different things for your body. And again, we were just talking about this in terms of like the absorption of vitamins, and it really, again, this comes down to like one of those things that like your skin is the biggest organ on your body, and it has the ability to like pull all this stuff in and synthesize it the way it needs to from its environment. So even when you are taking stuff, and I learned a lot about this, we can get into it a little bit, we're going to talk about aromatherapy and essential oils. But I've read so much about this in terms of the body's like need to do this process. So there's a huge difference between your body absorbing things through the skin, getting into the bloodstream that way in terms of concentration, and then ingesting it into your stomach.
Yeah.
So there's certain things that like your stomach is great for and can use for digestion and go take through your intestines and take what it needs out of it. And then there's certain things that like when you got to think when you're eating, you're dropping it into like an enzyme bath, or like, I mean, the craziest acid. Imagine like the strongest acid in the world is sitting in your stomach in that lining. So there is certain things that like you want to get absorbed through the skin. It's the best process to get it absorbed through the skin, not ingest it.
Mm-hmm.
And this is like some of the ways that the body just naturally does this in water. So yeah, it really is magical. And you can feel it. I mean, I don't know about this, but think of like days that you have like really bad hangover, right? And you get in the shower. I mean, shower is not a great example because it is chemical filled. They clean our waters.
Yep.
But now, you know, you're camping or you're hanging out or whatever. You're doing you're doing some outdoor activities, and lots of times there's drinking involved, and you can, you know, feel terrible, feel hungover, and you jump into a lake. Oh man. Life changing, right?
Well, that's it.
Instantly
like,
gone.
I was gonna say that when you're hungover, a lot of people just sit in the shower.
Yeah.
That feels great because
hydration.
You're hydrating your body from the outside.
From the outside, totally.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then the outdoor water, the like elemental water, is just even better. Yeah, because you don't have the chemicals.
With skin absorption, it's almost like intuitive. It's if you're deficient in iodine, and you can buy it in like a dropper, mm-hmm. and if you drop it onto your finger and you're deficient, your skin will just absorb it immediately. But if you're not, it'll just drip off of you.
Come on.
Yeah.
What a cool experiment. I want to try it.
So your skin almost knows what it needs, and it'll just take what it wants.
Right. Yeah. And it can use the concentration gradient. Well, that's kind of what I meant with the water, or with the ingestion versus absorption.
Yeah.
Is that a lot of times like you're putting something in your body that like, yeah, maybe it would use the skin surface to decipher the difference, right? Whether it wants it or not. And there is things of like, there is stories about kind of overdosing on specific vitamins because you're ingesting it and maybe you should have had it topically. There's a lot, like I said, we can get into it when we talk about essential oils, but that was also a big takeaway for me when I was learning about essential oils, is that lots of things should be taken topically, shouldn't be ingested.
Yeah.
Your body should be using that organ to process it rather than into your stomach. Oh my God, or God forbid the injections.
Yeah.
I can't even. In my head, I'm just like, let your body do its thing. Like, let it use all the receptors it has to process something safely. not just jack it right into your bloodstream directly, right? Like it can be so intimidating for the body to have to absorb like that instead of allowing its steps to get through into your bloodstream in less concentration.
Mm-hmm.
Not that I'm, against shooting yourself up with something if it's life-saving, but I think for the most part, like we really should let ourselves use some of these like natural mechanisms, right, to get into the body and into the bloodstream. Okay, cool. Oh my God. If you talked to me like 5 years ago, this is like the only thing. I think it was like my original honey, but is our microbiome. So we haven't done, I would love to do a whole episode on that as well, but there's lots of microbiome. So one is in your stomach, and then some is your bloodstream. And then there's this whole other microbiome that's on your skin. And unlike a sterilized tap or chlorinated pool, lakes and oceans have this beneficial bacteria that can support your skin's natural barrier and your microbial balance. So again, there's a microbiome, it's on your skin. Carrying these like really great bacteria can really help it. And I think we don't give enough there's not enough like research and like hyper awareness being done to like a lot of the sterilization processes that we're using. We're doing a lot of, and oh my gosh, during the pandemic, this was just rampant, right? Because we didn't want to be catching all these like horrible things that we were scared of. So we did turn into like a society, and I think we've always kind of been, since we were born, obsessed with cleanliness, right? We don't want to get sick, and I get it. It's not like I'm saying, let all the viruses live everywhere, like lap them up kind of thing. But I think the downfall to it is that we have been using all these really harsh cleaners. We've been using the sterilization, we're using the sanitizers, and we have to be aware of the fact that we are killing the microbiome that like naturally forms on your skin that can protect you from a lot of things. So if people are having things like psoriasis or skin infections or inflammations, rashes, anything like this, they really should be looking into scenarios where they should go jump in a lake. They should be going into natural bodies of water so that the microbiomes can like kind of fix themselves on their skin. If they have been exposed to tons of like cleaning mechanisms or chemicals that might have killed the microbiome on their skin.
Yeah, I know. I've been thinking about that a lot recently. Like any sanitizer says like kills 99.9% of bacteria or whatever, and like
what about the good guys?
Bacteria is life. So I was like, this stuff is just like death spray or death compound. So well,
we haven't really like figured out how to decipher, like we haven't figured out how to get the antibacterial to decipher between the two, right? And I think it's coming. I think modern science really is hyper aware of this now because we have introduced tons of things like probiotics. But the great thing is that they're happening in the environment. So like if we really just cut out some of the chemical cleansers and cleaners and disinfectant, we would go back to this more healthy microbiome scenario.
Yeah, it is easier when you're out in the forest or something like that.
Yeah, for sure.
When we're stuck in cities, it's a little different.
Yeah, and I think people always said this, and this was like going back like a generation. They'd be like, it's good for their immunity. Like, let them play in the dirt. Let them,
Definitely.
let them go outside. And they call it like farm effect, where, the more contact that you have with nature tends to build you a healthier immune system. And we do unfortunately see a correlation between tons of sterile environments without dirt, without those microbial balances. We see a lot on a weak immune system. We see people getting sick a lot. So yeah, I mean, depending on where you are, if you're struggling with things like this, definitely look into maybe removing some of the chemicals. We did this a couple years ago, I would say almost 10 now, really, since we had the kids. We got rid of any chemicals in the house. I started making my own soap. We were able to get down to a place where, we want our kids exposed to these like good microbes.
Yep.
Cool.
I guess we kind of already talked about this, but hydration and skin health.
Yeah.
Do we want to go to the next one?
Yeah, sure. The only thing I do want to say about it is like the pH balance. So a lot of times the pH in our waters in our like showers or baths coming out of our taps are, and again, I always like try to balance it because I understand why they're doing it, right? Like nobody wants to be dying from E. coli because you're drinking your natural water coming out of the thing. So that's why we treat water. So I'm not saying we need to stop it, but unfortunately the side effect of that is that you end up with like a pH balance that can really irritate or dry out your skin instead of the natural bodies of water. Which again, like that's the part that, and I think again, that maybe comes down to like water testing instead of water treatment. Mm-hmm. Could water be tested before it's treated? Like, you know, instead of doing like everything gets dosed with chlorine, could we just treat water if has an issue with it? Because we really are consuming a ton of chlorinated water.
Oh, definitely.
Which imagine if it dries out our skin on the inside or on the outside, what's it doing on the inside? And I felt that sometimes I'll like drink a bunch of water. I'm like, why am I still thirsty? Yeah. Maybe because it's drying me out from the inside. You know?
Yeah, we'd have to look into that.
We're drinking chemicals. We're drinking chlorine. So, yeah. That's concerning. And I know, you know what, honestly, we could get let's try to look for some water specialists to get on the podcast because there's so much information out there now. Yeah. And there's so many different organizations that are working towards like cleaner water and water softener programs.
We could be totally wrong.
Yeah. Well, no, I think it's just they do it as a stock mechanism, right? It comes out of the city being chlorinated because they don't want someone dying of E. coli.
Yes.
So unfortunately, the byproduct is that we end up with like water that might be not ideal for drinking. Cool. All right. So yeah, still in the natural water. It's been linked to tons of mental health benefits as well. And I was saying this before, but yeah, just like the exercise where you're getting the physical and the mental, I think water, you're also getting the physical and mental. There's so much research that's been done into like being near water or in water as like a meditative state, reducing stress, boosting your mood. And then obviously there's that whole study now about cold plunging, cold water immersion in particular, showing triggers of endorphin releases, decreasing inflammation and improving mood in clinical and anecdotal studies. Like Wim Hof's studies. What a guy.
Yeah, Wim Hof is amazing.
Yeah. Have you ever done this, cold plunge?
No, I've tried just with cold showers, and I hate it. It's so hard. But I know Wim Hof does it with breathing techniques, and I didn't learn the breathing techniques. So
I think this is like a lot more. I've done this before. It was when we were kids, and it was a lot of like we're in the hot tub, and we would dare each other to like roll down the hill in the snow. That's true. Like jump in the creek. Yep. Going from the sauna to the lake when we're up north. Yep. I think like there are these like really fun situations, and again, I think it's just up to us to really recognize the benefits and the change in your mood. Yeah. Right? A lot of times you're like, that was a great day, but when you really sit down and decipher it, it has those like physical and health benefits. Yeah. And I guess then just doing it often enough to see the benefits would be better.
I felt that when we were swimming in Tobermory, so it was July 1st. So it's summertime, but it's still early summer, and same thing, same lake. Tobermory's on Lake Huron, and it was just freezing cold water, but it was so crystal clear and blue with the beautiful sandstone bottom, and I had to swim in it, and it was just so insanely cold, but it felt so good.
Yeah. I was joking about this when we were talking about it. I was like, where's the hot plunging? Can we talk more about how beneficial it is to get in hot water? Because honestly, a hot shower like is the most euphoric experience in the world to me. And I get it every day, and it's only like 15 minutes. And I'm just like, this is the best part of my day. Like I am a different person going into that shower than coming out. So whatever Wim Hof, I'm here for the hot plunge. I'm talking hot springs, hot tubs. I guess take out the chemicals though. Hot springs, natural nice. Hot springs are amazing.
Nobody's saying the cold is nice, but it's giving you lots of benefits.
I should have looked up more about this, but when I was in Korea, they would have these like hot bath. Maybe the Nordic spas do it too, but it's like different temperatures. So you'll go into the hot, and then you go in the cold, and you go in the hot, and their explanation was like the differences between the two, your body responding to like the gradient
Yeah.
was the important part. They had like all these walking paths where you'd be like dipping your feet and walking along like different temperatures of water. It would go from hot to cold. And then they also had like different textures in the rocks that were like supposed to stimulate like reflex points. So yeah, there's lots of different research-based stuff that shows like all the benefits of different temperatures in water. So when you're camping, you naturally get it because you're naturally gonna be in whatever you're at the mercy of Mother Nature in terms of the temperature. And yeah, some of these Great Lakes, I mean, they're so big. Yes. The water is just freezing all year round.
Yeah.
So yeah, great opportunity to get some anti-inflammatory cold plunge.
Yep. So the next one is gentle exercise and recovery. So yeah, water supports the body and reduces impact on joints, making it an ideal environment for gentle movement and recovery. So yeah, swimming in lakes and oceans is just amazing, and it improves circulation, promotes lymphatic drainage, and soothes tired muscles, or exercises them too. But it's
stretch and strengthen, right?
Yep.
Yeah. When I was first getting into fitness as a job, I was a lifeguard like for most of my teenage years. And then I was working at the YMCA in Niagara, and I think it kind of just, maybe it was just part of the schedule that they would have these like water aerobics come in. And then when I started at LA Fitness, and especially during my pregnancies, I was so interested in this. And I think just studying that population, I mean, it tends to be a high risk population. So yeah, people that have had joint issues, especially hips, knees, ankles. I think it's just such a great way if you are somebody who like struggles with joint and impact and like even back issues. Like if you have like back pain, exercising in the water is just so much more attainable for people. So I see a lot of like high risk populations that can't otherwise exercise anywhere else, and they can exercise in the water. So I think that's like a really exciting part of water. And then obviously, yeah, like you had said, the circulation, lymphatic drainage, and muscle soreness is so great. Just you can feel it like when you're doing water, what's it called? When you're like water resistance is such a great way to like twist yourself and pull and stretch and open muscles and close muscles. Yeah, water exercise is great. It was one of my favorite formats to teach. Yeah, it's great. Awesome. Well, we're going to move into, so yeah, that was all the water stuff. Now we're going to move into grounding, which is Jacob's favorite thing to promote.
Yeah, definitely.
He's so sure that it changed his life.
Well, it did. Yeah, I've mentioned it before, I think, on the podcast, but it happened to me so often. Every time in the winter, my feet would just start to hurt, and I would do all this stuff for plantar fasciitis, and I had,
footwear, the slippers,
sore feet. So I'd wear slippers in the house, and I'd buy big comfy insoles and things like that, and I just had this foot pain all winter long. And then the summer would come, and I'd be walking on rocks barefoot and stuff like that, which like you would think would just
make
destroy
it worse.
Your super
yeah, if you
sore
have
feet.
inflammation.
And every time my pain was totally gone. And so it took me like 3 years of that happening to put it together to be just like, it's got to just be grounding.
Yeah, now walking outside barefoot.
The research is coming out about it. So yeah, grounding is also known as earthing. And it's just the practice of making contact with the earth. And that's it. Walking on grass, sand, soil, and of course swimming in water. And because grounding is kind of an electrical process, our bodies are kind of electrical in nature. Water is very conductive, so it like supercharges that experience, I think.
Yeah, you get like grounding plus water, right?
Yeah.
I always like joked with it because I was like, as a yogic practitioner, my idea is like I can just sit here with my arms out and I'm like collecting the energy. Like I picture it being more like
yeah, but you can't collect the energy when you're sitting on a vinyl floor.
Right. I just picture being able to like capture and push out energy out of your skin. Like I don't need a median. I think my median is air. That's how I picture it, but I could be wrong. Again, that's just my imagination and the way I kind of perceive like how I can pass energy, because I'm talking, I'm vibrating my vocal folds, my energy's coming out of my mouth. I don't picture it necessarily being like has to be released because of contact with the natural environment, but I understand.
Sure, but
I get the idea behind it.
Same with the house. Your electrical system in your house doesn't work unless it's connected to the earth.
Yeah.
And all that is just a copper rod stuck into the ground, and
Right.
all our electrical panels attach into a copper rod that's just buried into the dirt, and your
Right.
system does not work without that. So as a natural being, animals and stuff, you're always in contact with the earth, and that
Right.
system functions as it should.
Yeah.
But then as soon as we wear rubber shoes, we're breaking that contact entirely. Some people go long periods of time without ever touching the earth with their skin.
Right. It's not, can the conductivity come from your hands?
Sure.
Can it be on this desk?
No.
Because the desk is not touching the earth? Like
Yeah.
it's touching the floor in the house?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I can wrap my head around it. I mean, it's crazy, some of these practices, because it's not necessarily measurable. It's like, I'm going to get these people to come outside every day and with their bare feet and walk into the earth. And then I'm going to ask them in a couple weeks if they're like feeling their like, you know, if their inflammation's down, if they don't have any pain in their feet.
Yeah, it's hard to say how long it takes for it to go away too, because
Right.
I notice it seasonally. Even this year, it still came back in the winter, and
Yeah.
I was even trying to like stand outside in the snow sometimes,
God.
but it's just hard to do in the winter.
Yeah.
And I think it's almost more painful because it's you know, it just the snow is burning
Cold,
your feet.
yeah.
For a
Yeah,
minute.
maybe like the benefits outweigh the
Yeah, I'm not sure.
the issues outweigh the benefits, because then you're just like, I'm freezing my rear end.
Yeah, but either way, it wasn't enough, and my foot pain came back, and
Yeah.
then now that we're into the summertime again,
You're
it's
outside a
gone,
bunch.
and
Yeah.
I almost just forget it was there in the first place.
I would
and it
love,
just
yeah, we
disappears.
should try to find something like a,
Well, also we got
we should find someone that's a,
we got grounding sheets for Christmas, and I was
yeah.
curious to see if that would work,
yeah.
but I
haven't
don't-
noticed a difference.
No, I don't think it's the same thing.
Yeah.
It might work if you actually like attach the wire directly into the ground,
Right.
but this is just in the like a grounding
Electrical
pin in your
into your,
socket.
yeah. You plug it into your wall
So
or something.
that does make its way to the ground eventually,
Right.
but it is kind of going through all the wires in your house first. So I don't know.
I don't know. Yeah, there's so much about this these practices that are all just testimonies, right? So it's hard to commit to it and figure it out. But yeah.
But I know for sure the one that does work is actually touching the earth with your body.
Yeah, and you've noticed a difference through it, so.
Definitely.
So yeah, they say that it reduces inflammation when you touch the earth. Free electrons from the ground flow into your body. These electrons, so you're actually like getting something from the contact as well as like releasing. Because I just pictured it as being like releasing, but they're saying that a lot of times free electrons, your body is like a magnet for them. So they come in and they act as a natural antioxidant. They help to neutralize free radicals. So free radicals that are floating around in the body tend to be havoc causing in your body. So they end up causing inflammation and like causing cancer, all the things. Like free radicals in the body, there's a lot of research that's gone into like things that you're eating that will cause this. But they use it as like a significant blood marker. So they'll test your blood for it. And if you have a ton of free radicals in the body, they're noticing it's like a significant marker for people who are claiming that they have a lot of inflammation and they feel a lot of pain. They also did some really cool studies on wound healing that I thought was really interesting. I was reading about it. So it was, accelerating the healing of wounds. They just, had the same type of like burn victims or embedded object or somebody who has like a cut or whatever. And they were basically studying them based on whether they got outside every day with their bare feet versus somebody who didn't.
Yeah.
Same location, all the same, factors the same type of thing. So yeah, I thought that was really cool, reducing inflammation and healing. And then the biggest takeaway for grounding is sleep, is improving sleep cycles. So they really notice people that are using grounding techniques regulate with, again, lower cortisol. That's the stress hormone. And it also plays a big part. Your cortisol plays a big part in your sleep-wake cycle. So people that have like are riding high on stress, have high cortisol, they tend to be the ones that are saying that they're waking up constantly. They're waking up 3 or 4 times through the night, which is why you see all these items like grounding mats. Because a lot of times they're people who are reporting having bad sleep, right? They don't have great quality sleep. They have lots of times that they're waking up. They're complaining about like nightmares or night terrors. So they really find that like grounding in whatever capacity really helps with that. It's thought to be due to the body's natural alignment with the Earth's electrical rhythms, and this stabilizes all your biological clocks.
Yeah, so yeah, they call it like circadian rhythms and things like that. And yeah, just being in nature, in the water, on the ground, it kind of just it's like a relationship and
connects you into that.
Yeah.
And then of course, same as the cortisol situation is the decrease in stress and anxiety.
Yeah, contact with the earth has a calming effect on the nervous system and stimulates the parasympathetic nervous system, rest and digest mode, while calming the sympathetic system, fight or flight. One study published in Psychological Reports found that grounded individuals experienced reduced anxiety, tension, and irritability after just 1 hour of grounding. And yeah, that's I'd be curious what exactly they were using for that study, if it was like a grounding mat or something, because that'd be interesting if you could be sitting in your house and getting that effect, like whether you had I was even talking about like putting like a copper rod through the floor of my basement just with like a metal plate on top, and then just stand on that and see if that would work in the winter, right?
Yeah. Well, you have something very specific that you're testing too, which I think is, interesting. It makes it like more like a study, like you're like, oh, in the winter I'm fine. Like, what's the variable, right? So you're able to like measure something. I don't have anything that's like necessarily measurable that I'm like, oh, I would love to, fix this. But I think when you're taking test subjects and you're able to just isolate just the grounding versus not grounding, I think that makes it like a big difference to show the difference. And I mean, obviously,
because if this study was if they were outside on the grass for an hour every day, they're also getting all the other benefits that we already talked about.
The relaxing time with their family, I know. And again, why wouldn't you, right? It's so funny as humans that we try to like find a workaround. Like, oh, I can't get sun because I have no time because I have to work my job. So I'll just take vitamin D. Yes. Oh, I want to ground. I'll just plug my sheets into it because I have such bad sleep cycles, and everybody says grounding works. But I mean, to get the whole shebang, for sure. Like, just go outside and sit in the grass.
Yeah. Nothing beats the original.
Yeah. Trying to synthesize it like this, I mean, you're missing out on all the other parts. But I love that it's so effective in terms of like calming people, because we're in such a crazy society now. All the like our typical routine behaviors are just so stress inducing. If you all these things that we're talking about that reduce stress and calm the body, that's not what we're spending, 7 hours a day. 7 hours a day was the statistic. We're spending 7 hours a day on our devices, our screens, which causes inflammation, which causes all these stressors, which causes your body to go into flight or fight and causes the cortisol release. So some of these reducers are great.
Definitely.
We need it.
And it grounding also supports heart health, and grounding can positively affect heart rate variability, which is a key indicator of cardiovascular and nervous system balance. And I think, again, this kind of relates to like the electrical system, right? Just having that grounded connection is completing the circuit.
Yeah, and getting yourself out of that like stress response, like we talked about it, lowering your heart rate, just like going camping. All of a sudden you see people's heart rate going down 2 or 3%. And that could all be based on the electrical impulse charge.
Yep.
That you're able to like, slow it down when you're in the elements, grounding, water, whatever, fresh air, all the things I think typically are going to react to that nervous system balance. Cool. And then, the last one, we talked about this already, lowering inflammation, lowering stress. Grounding indirectly supports a stronger immune system and immune response. So as soon as you lower chronic inflammation and lower cortisol, you're going to have a better immune system. When the body's in a state of inflammation, it thinks it's on guard, like something bad's happening, it's in that fight or flight, then your immune system goes rock bottom. It's those times, anybody would say that, right? That you're super stressed out, that you end up getting sick. Because your body is Yeah, it's not able to like strengthen the defense system when it's busy doing this, right? It's busy just trying to keep you alive because it thinks you're about to die. So it's not worried about it, just like fighting common colds and defense mechanisms in the body.
Mm-hmm. And yeah, grounding is free and accessible. So, and obviously it's great to do when we're out camping, and it's so easy. And the whole time we were there, the kids are out just playing in the dirt and walking on the beach. As soon as you get on the beach, you got to take your shoes off, of course.
Oh,
and,
it feels so good.
Yeah.
Yeah, just spend that time reconnecting with the earth. It's great. What about the campground?
Yeah.
I was so paranoid. I kept telling the kids to put their shoes back on.
Oh, that's true.
That's probably
true.
I was probably keeping them from all the grounding. They were wearing their rubber shoes.
There was a lot of poison ivy
everywhere. If you go to the pinery, oh my God, watch out for the poison ivy.
Just
it's literally the ground cover there.
It is a lot of the ground cover in that area for sure.
Yeah.
I can't believe it though, as there was nobody had contact or nobody had any reaction to it.
Yeah. I mean, adults aren't typically running off the path.
Your friend Jen was saying that she said she doesn't react to it.
Yeah.
So I just thought if you touch poison ivy, that meant you just got this horrible rash. But apparently some people just don't respond to that. So I wasn't about to like test my luck and see, but I was like, I must have rubbed against it at least some point.
I just want to touch it and see if I respond to it.
There's so many times
Jen
we went
said
through
that
some of
she's
the
been
little
through
goat
so much
paths
stuff as a kid and
yeah.
like never exposed to it. And maybe it is something like that with like we're gonna get into allergies and just like having allergic reactions to stuff. And a lot of times when you're exposed to something as a child, the younger you get exposed to something, typically the less allergic response that you're gonna have to it. So shout out to Ed Sharp. But yeah, it was Jen's dad that said he showed me some pictures of him responding to the having allergic reaction to the poison ivy, and it was awful. I'm wondering, because the stories that I've ever heard of people getting these like crazy rashes and stuff are usually they're trying to remove it.
Oh,
so I think it's when you break it and you actually have the oil of the plant. I think it's like the plant's defense mechanism. So he was saying when he had this, I've never seen it. It didn't even look like him in the picture. His face was just so mangled from the poison ivy. He said he was weed whacking it. So I'm like, so you're weed whacking it. The oil's spraying all over you and it's spraying up in your face, right? Because it just shoots it in the air.
Oh boy.
He literally looked like a different person. His face was so bad. His eyes were like so puffy and red and swollen shut. It's crazy. Our Aunt Risa, same thing. She's, has had some really bad reactions with it. It's because she's trying to remove it. Our friend Mark recently, he was chopping it down.
Yeah.
Same thing. They ended up having a bad reaction to it. So I think if you leave it alone, I think if you brush up against it, it's not going to be some crazy reaction.
Leaves of 3, let them be.
Yeah. So I think if the kids are like, we're running through it, we didn't have anyone react to it, but it might be a different story if they started picking at it or something like that. I think that's it.
We must have brushed up against it, and I saw the kids accidentally just stepped in it off their bikes or whatever.
And, yeah, for sure. Cool. Are we ready for a break?
Sure. Yeah, we can take a break.
All right. We'll be back. Today we are talking all about the great outdoors. We're just coming off our first camp trip and coming into camp season. So really we spend typically we spend most of our summer camping. So we're talking about all about the benefits of being outside and the different things that it does change physically and mentally for a lot of people. So if you are like us and you are running the rat race like crazy in your day-to-day 9 to 5 and, you know, taking care of families and extracurriculars and just generating as much money as you possibly can, this is a great way to kind of get yourself out of that. So this one I totally identified with, and I've mentioned before on the podcast that I've joined a mastermind group lately to run my dance studio, and they always identify this, and I think it's been like such a fun thing to actually, you know, be able to have these women around me relate. And they always say that they're just so involved in their business and the mental race that your business plays, that it ends up being really difficult to turn it off. And you end up being vulnerable to like having these like mental fogs where like there's lots of times in the day where I'm just like, my brain's running, going, generating ideas, thinking about stuff, brainstorming, problem solving, that you kind of end up just like in this fog where you can't function or process. And it happens, you know, once in a while during the day. And especially it happens, you know, in our urban life because of, again, we mentioned this, because of the screen time and because of the devices and because of the mental capacities that our brains are being expected to function. So, I noticed this so vividly is, you know, within a 24-hour period, the mental fog just goes away and you're able to function clearer. Your mental processes are so much better. It's a lot more closer to this sense of peace and clarity that we all want so bad. So I think it immediately kind of gets you into that scenario. So we were reading a study in the Journal of Environmental Psychology, and it was basically saying that nature immersion improves focus and working memory up to 20%. So it's a huge significant difference that people are showing as they are being outdoors and involved in their environment. Typically campers would say that they return from trips feeling far more refreshed, new perspective on problems, and again, just the quiet combined with rhythmic nature sounds like wind and birds and waves allows the brain to kind of settle into a more relaxed process instead of it being, in our busy day-to-day that we have going on in this typical society. So yeah, I totally felt that. I was able to like think a lot clearer once I was out there, again, between the non-distractions, because you get rid of your screen, and just being in the environment, your brain does kind of slow down a little bit and is able to like process more clearly.
Yeah, and just having the white noise of nature around you all the time, really, yeah. I feel like we always just sleep so well.
Oh yeah.
Except when you forget your pillow.
Yeah, we ended up with one pillow. So the first night we were nice and we gave it to our daughter. And then after the second night of sleeping nose to nose, we're like, yeah, I think they're young. They can handle this better than us.
Yeah, and she slept fine.
Yeah, and she was fine. No, and then somehow I ended up with the hoodie balled up on the fourth night. And I slept like a rock. I didn't even care. I was fine with just sleeping on a rolled up sweater. But yeah, typically your sleep is so good when you're camping.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and while you're camping, you can learn new skills or teach new skills. So camping is an ideal space for learning and growing. So everything from, setting up your shelter and building a fire, identifying plants, and navigating maps, all challenge your abilities and build resilience. So I always, I try and get the kids to understand the layout of the campsite once we get there and know where everything is. And I kind of pay attention to that. And then we'll just let them go on their bikes, give them kind of a limit of how far they can go.
Right.
And they always do really well. And you can see they start to know where everything is and they get a lay of the land and they can go kind of do stuff on their own where you wouldn't normally trust them to do something like that in a city setting.
Yeah, they're building autonomy, right? Like they're able to like find that confidence. Annabelle's girlfriend, Lila, they were just, running around the whole time, and you're right. In a typical neighborhood setting, we would never let them do that, but it's a safer setting because of the traffic, right?
Yep.
There's not crazy cars rushing by. So
yeah, especially where we are.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, I think it's wonderful to learn some of these skills. We were talking about these are like life skills, right? And typically speaking, in your day-to-day life, like you don't need to learn these. No. I don't need to make a fire because I just turn the the furnace on, right? Or like my indoor fireplace, gas fireplace. I don't need to learn how to build shelter because I live in a house.
Yeah.
So these are like life things that it forces you in this scenario to do these things, and it's so good for you and for kids.
And you can fall back on it in emergencies.
Yeah. Oh my God forbid, you know, you get yourself in a scenario where you don't know how. Yeah, it boosts your confidence that you don't need to panic and that you can actually, you know, you're capable of doing these things.
Yeah. Yeah, the real world skills that they boost confidence for adults. They rekindle a sense of capability and curiosity. In the Journal of Adventure Education and Outdoor Learning, they found that people who camp regularly report higher self-reliance and improved problem-solving skills. And of course, that's just obvious to me. If you're able to do that and go through with it and cook and take care of yourself in an outdoor environment, you're going to be a lot farther ahead than a lot of people, I think.
Yeah, and I think too, it's like the emotional attachment that you have to it and the emotional experience. Like, I'm struggling with this as the business. We're being taught this too, is like, what a job that you go to do yourself, can you delegate it? So like, if you go to do something for yourself, you go to cook lunch, your first reaction is like, do I need to make this lunch? Can I just go buy this lunch? My time is so precious. I'm CEO. I need to like, everybody needs to do everything for me. And I think it is this like uphill battle for people to emotionally and mentally get over so that you can get yourself in a scenario where you can outsource stuff. But the problem is that when you outsource these basic life skills, you're losing out on the emotional attachment and the feeling of like, yeah, self-reliance. You're like, I can do this. You're taking away the emotional part of it, and like it makes you feel so good, right? So they're all about just dollars and cents, like how much money's going in, and like, can you pay somebody a cheaper amount to do this for you? Does my hour of making my lunch, is that necessary? Because I could go out and buy it in 5 minutes, and that person who spent an hour making it is cheaper. But I think, yeah, when you go back to these type of things, you know, cooking over the fire and camping and whatever, and setting up your tent and collecting firewood, like things like that, you can't dismiss the emotional part of it.
Yeah. And yeah, getting to cook over the fire is so much fun, and the kids get to be involved in that. And it always turns out great.
Process.
You get
it tastes so good.
You get the smokiness of the fire in everything you're cooking, which it's a really great experience. Yeah,
you feel so thrifty. Like, yeah, it's something that you don't necessarily have to do, but it just feels so good when you do it.
Yeah.
Cool. And then the last thing that we're going to talk about before we get into aromatherapy, which is just such a huge passion and interest of ours, is inspiring creativity. So I think, again, we're artistically married, and we're also artistically parenting. We're constantly including opportunities for our children to be involved in the arts and trying to create these opportunities for them. So, of course, I mean, getting off the screens and giving them this like white space for them to focus on sketching and drawing and playing and building and exercising. There's a huge creative spike in being in the outdoors and being in nature. People, you know, claim that it like increases their artistic ability up to 60% after just like walking in nature, you know, for just to provide yourself with that open space. Many artists, writers, musicians, they swear by their outdoor retreats for inspiration. Whether it's a play of light through a tree or an endless horizon in a lake, quiet hum of the forest, nature often is providing those creative incubators for people. So obviously for us being, you know, doing the podcast for you guys and kind of creating these experiences, I think it was just so important for us to mention that, it was able to like give us time really to brainstorm and think about our vision and where we wanted the podcast to go and where we want our business to go and all the things. Very creative, inspired.
For sure. And it's fun getting the kids out there too. And you can see that, you know, immediately they're just grabbing sticks and rocks and digging in dirt and sand and doing all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, the imaginatory play.
Yeah, we have so much just kind of handed to us in our world with, you know, very intricate toys and things like that, and all the work's kind of done for you. But then as soon as you just go out into nature, we all have that, in our genes, I guess, and it comes out immediately.
And play, and yeah. I think those are the moments where you kind of, as a parent, go like, okay, all right, I think we're not screwing them up. Because how many like times? I mean, not so much our kids, but in the studio, I hear kids all the time being like, oh, they're bored all the time. It's like going to be like the new like worst thing to experience in our society. Ugh, boredom.
Mm-hmm.
And we always joke about that. We're like, oh, like you're not like we're artists, like we're never bored. There's always some vision that we have or mission that we want to accomplish. So I think going into nature just like really inspires some of these thoughts, and then we were able to like bring them home and then create them here.
Mm-hmm. All right, so that brings us to aromatherapy in nature.
Yeah, aromatherapy period, but also especially in nature.
I wanted to talk about this just because it's just another thing I noticed when we were talking about what we experience when we're camping, but just walking through a trail in the forest to get to the dock or whatever, and it's lined with cedar trees, and the whole time we're camping, I'm just taking in these big breaths because everything just smells so good.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was like, there has to be something that's happening, scientifically
on a molecular level. Yeah.
So experiencing aromatherapy in natural settings like forest, fields, or near flowering plants offers a multi-sensory healing experience that combines the power of essential plant compounds with fresh air, sunlight, and the calming presence of the outdoors. Naturally occurring essential oils are in the forest, and many trees and plants emit their own essential oils into the air. For example, pine, cedar, eucalyptus, and cypress trees release compounds which are antimicrobial plant oils. Breathing these in while hiking or camping in wooded areas has been shown to boost immune function, lower stress hormones and blood pressure, and improve overall mood and vitality. And that's kind of what I feel from it too, that you just can't not feel bad. Or
not feel bad?
You can't
feel bad.
Double negative.
Yeah.
You can't feel bad when you're smelling that.
No, I know. Something just like uplifts in you. You're like, this is a good day.
Yeah.
Your brain just keeps telling you that, right? You're like walking along on a path and just smelling the forest, and you're like, today's good. Today's a good experience.
It is.
Yeah. So there is something about your brain chemistry that's really appreciating that. Oh man, again, this could be an entire podcast devoted to my experience with aromatherapy. I think the most important takeaway thing for aromatherapy, and again, it links to your camping or your outdoor experiences, is nostalgia, is memory. People think that it's their hearing, but your olfactory, your like sense of smell is your greatest connection to memory. And it's so unconscious a lot of times. Like it's functioning on such an unconscious level that you're not even sometimes aware of it. I mean, everyone has those obvious stories. You're like, oh, my grandma's, banana bread every time it was cooking in the house. Like I could smell it, and it reminded me of going to that place or that house. But there's so much that your body does in terms of like, oh, I attach to this smell, and like this makes me relax and I calm down, because there's the biological connection to it. So there is this big like nostalgic experience to like anytime you're in nature, your body feels better. I think I should go here more often. I think I should spend more of my time in nature. There's certain aromatherapies that are like beneficial for certain times that like can, again, just like like vitamin D, it can force your body into like a synthesizing, right? So that's why it is able to do these like immune function increase, because it's actually synthesizing, your body's synthesizing something because it smells this and it spikes it or sends it into this like creator mode, and it's able to do these things. So I've a couple of years ago got into essential oils and did like so much. That's why I was talking before at the beginning of the podcast about it, sometimes being topically applied, and then a lot of times it's breathed in, right? It's respiratory. that does like that, it has to be administered through your respiratory system, because going through your respiratory, your sinuses, your lungs, your nose, all those different body parts is like the best way for your body to experience some of these essential oils. So yeah, that brings me to the respiratory system. And I think like this has been, again, just so powerful. Just using them naturally and kind of digging into some of the therapeutic experiences of it being able to like open airways, soothe inflammation. This, especially when the kids were little, this was our only form of medicine. When we were trying to treat the kids, when like they had any kind of like upper respiratory infection, all we were using was humidifiers and like diffusers, right? We were able to like use aromatherapy to kind of give them those like decongestant, reducing sinus pressure. Allergies we had a baby at 2.5, 3 years old that just seemed like destined to be plagued with seasonal allergies and pet allergies. And there is really huge links to like people who suffer from these things, suffer from asthma, suffer from respiratory infection, suffer from seasonal allergies, to be in clean, fresh air and outdoors. And I think there's something that's, like oxygen rich or less pollution, all the things. Like there's just so many parts of air quality that I think really do play a part in like having a healthy respiratory system. And yeah, aromatherapy, yes, of course, go get it in nature and get it in the environment, but also we've done a lot of harnessing on these type of compounds, and you can use them in your house now. Like there's very rarely is a day that I'm walking around without a bottle of eucalyptus oil, and just smelling it just makes you feel so much better. So of course, when you're surrounded by it and you're in like, pine trees or cedar trees, of course you're going to get all those same benefits.
Mm-hmm.
And on like a huge level, because there's tons of trees, and yeah, it's great.
Yeah.
Aromatherapy in general is great, but definitely when it's not in its natural form and in huge amounts, huge quantities, it's great.
Yeah, there is just so many amazing smelling plants. And even just something about the lake.
I was just gonna say that even just the water smell is like so nostalgic and just relaxing. But
well, even I don't even like. Yeah, smell does have that memory.
100%
memory component to it. But I think if you lived in like a desert, city or something like that, and then you just went and
first
you
time
smelled
ever
like a cedar forest for the first
like,
time.
Wow.
Like, I think that would give you it'd give you something.
Yeah.
Yeah, so okay. The combination of scent and nature exposure enhances mental clarity and reduces brain fatigue. Studies show that people exposed to natural aromatherapy, such as in lavender or eucalyptus groves, report higher cognitive function, improved concentration, and lower rates of depression. Nature's scents stimulate the limbic system in your brain, your emotional control center, which is why a whiff of fresh pine or blooming flowers can instantly lift your spirits. And I think that people are starting to take advantage of that more. Like even you see hockey players now, they have like these smelling salts and stuff that they pass around while they're on the bench, and
makes them more cute.
Yeah
100%. I do it all the time. I always have like an essential oil smell in my bag, and I'm using it all the time just to like calm myself down or boost my mood or boost it's very, very, very powerful. It's great. And a lot of times with the essential oils, as long as you're getting pure forms of it, which is really questionable and difficult, because a lot of times it's just like a fragrance, right? Like if you're going to spray Febreze all over your house, you're gonna get that like euphoric smell feeling, but you're also poisoning yourself with chemicals. So finding a really great source of essential oils, if you can't get out into the wilderness, carrying around these essential oils, it can be really powerful for athletes or professionals or mental gymnastics. I don't know.
Yeah.
Anything that you need your brain to work for, it's gonna do some really positive things when you're using aromatherapy.
Yep.
I thought this was really cool. It was like grounding through aromatherapy. And I know I actually was recently reading, because Aaron, your boss, was talking about the smell of like, smelled so good, like frankincense, golden myrrh kind of thing. Yeah. And I was just reading about it because back in the day when I really got into essential oils, I spent like hours and hours just studying. I wanted to know like every oil and what it did for the body. And there are all these like really, and you see them a lot of times, they'll use them in like yoga practices, but there's all these like specific to grounding type of smells, and it's supposed to do the same thing. You're supposed to be getting like the same type of like natural sensory grounding effect that you do when you're grounding and touching like the ground, right? It's supposed to be like a smell that does it for you. Things like wood smoke, sweet grass, fresh grass, and lemongrass. Like there's so many different ones that are related to the smells. In memory will make you kind of have that like lower anxiety and anchoring of the nervous system. Which I thought was really cool. The same things that you're trying to get through grounding, you can get through aromatherapy.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Yeah, smelling
wood smells I think are really grounding, and like they say it basically like makes you like more of a sense of reality and purpose, dharma, like just so those are all the things you're looking for grounding. After a rainfall is such a good smell. Yeah, so anchoring and like it calms you down, right? Mm-hmm. Cool. And I kind of just mentioned this too, that using aromatherapy during yoga or meditative or journaling practices has like really great benefits. Again, you're sitting by a tree, you're smelling all those natural aromas, creating like an open environment that deepens your ability to be introspective and to be relaxed, to be operating from a state of relaxation. So how relaxed do you feel now? Yeah. After camping? Yeah. Yeah, no, it was a great weekend. There's a lot of you got to drive back and sit in traffic and then unload and all that kind of stuff and get back into your regular routine. Oh, sure, but that's that's like all the work you have to do for and against but it. But yeah, I definitely needed the weekend. It was great. Yeah, this morning I felt great. I was like, I could live here forever. Oh yeah, you always feel like that. This is me now. Yep. And then obviously coming back to reality makes you think, what am I doing with my life? Yes. Why am I not spending more time outside? Definitely. We all got to get out there and camp more often. Yeah, totally. Yeah, so much fun. We definitely recommend 5 stars camping. Yes. And definitely a shout out to the Ontario provincial parks. Yeah. That's kind of what we do because that's in our province, but they're all kind of run the same way, and they're all very great. Organized. And if you like done really rocks, trees, waterways, water, rocks, and trees. We got plenty of that in Ontario, and that's kind of what we do, I guess. Yeah. Yeah, it's been great. So we got 2 weeks coming up. We're spending 2 weeks in Kettle Lakes. We're going to do some road sodes with our good friends up there, Darcy Saibalski and Richard Studel. And then we'll be back in July. We got Jonas Grant. He's the owner of Block Barber. We're actually in a week going to sit down with Emily Andrews. She's a really incredible, legendary painter in Niagara. So we got some fun guests coming up for you guys, and we'll talk to you soon. All right.
Don't forget to follow us on Spotify, and you'll never miss a podcast.
Good night.
Yep. Good night. Bye.